Clancy Wiggum is Springfield's clumsiest police chief.
Whoa, that was close.
He's so easygoing, in fact, that he's only solved a crime or two.
Oh, for gosh, can't you people solve these problems yourselves?
Yeah, Wiggum lives a quiet life devoid of danger or even a slight thrill. But I guess when you get bribed sacks full of peanuts aplenty, it gives you a good reason to be a bit lazy. However, was he always like this, and how did his future play out? Ahoy hoy, it's Lydia here from the Simpsons Theory, and this is the complete timeline of Chief Wiggum.
My husband is on a murderous rampage. Over.
Oh, well, thank God that's over. I was worried there for a second.
But before that, I'd like to say a big thank you to this video's sponsor, Magic Spoon. One of the best things about being a kid was pouring a big bowl of delicious sugary cereal and watching cartoons in the morning. But as I got older, I learned that I couldn't live on sweet, tasty, teeth-rotting junk forever, because being an adult sucks. That was until Magic Spoon came along. It has all the same deliciously nostalgic taste without all the added bad stuff. Magic Spoon cereals have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. It's only 140 calories per serving, and they're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low carb. There are tons of amazing flavors to choose from, and my tasty tip is to mix a bowl of cocoa and peanut butter together. Click on the link below to get a variety pack and try it today, and be sure to use the promo code Simpson at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or simply go to magicspoon.com/Simpson. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason at all, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link below and use the code Simpson for $5 off, or simply go to magicspoon.com/Simpson to save $5 today. Wiggum's early life and his family. Clancy's father Iggy was a World War II vet serving alongside Abe Simpson and Monty Burns.
If anybody finds a grenade without a pin, that's mine.
And like the many men in the Flying Hellfish unit and their sons, Iggy was a spitting image of his. Unfortunately, in 1979, Iggy died during a parade float incident, which was most likely caused by Mr. Burns. Clancy's mother is fairly anonymous. All we know is that she tastes just like Homer's tomatoes.
Oh, Daddy, this tastes like Grandma.
Perhaps influenced by his father's time in the service, Wiggum had always wanted to join the police force. A documentary in Springfield Up showed an 8-year-old Clancy donning a cute little police badge and playing cops and robbers. Clancy's teenage years. Clancy approached the first rank of the justice system at the tender age of 16, a hall monitor at Springfield High. But poor Wiggum had no respect at all, as all those pesky kids ran circles around him in the school corridors. This is where we can also see how he may be acting in good faith but fairly unobservant when the need calls for it, allowing such shady characters including Snake Detention Bird to get away with a whole lot more than running. Now, with a sense of responsibility under his belt, he now wanted to mature in the art of authority, picking up a part-time job as a student security monitor at the Germ Warfare Lab in Springfield University. Now, previously, we've seen that Clancy was around the same age as Homer, but in this episode, he's much older. But I think we all know by now that the wizard probably did it.
But in episode AG4...
Wizard.
For Glaven out.
Anyway, while Clancy was on his night shift at the Germ Lab, Mona Simpson, Homer's mother, and her clan of hippies invaded it and detonated an antibiotic bomb, destroying Burns' precious germs. Chubby teen Clancy tried and failed to run away from the antibiotic cloud, but the cloud ended up curing his asthma for good.
Bronchial tube's clearing. asthma disappearing.
Because of this, he helped Mona escape twice, once by unintentionally smacking Mr. Burns with the door, and then years later warning that Mr. Burns and the FBI were en route to capture her at the Simpsons house. This just goes to show that even though it was Clancy's responsibility to turn her in, he did what he felt was right.
Well, it's 'cause of your old lady that I got rid of the asthma that was keeping me out of the academy.
It also starts the trend where Wiggum really bends the rules for his own gain or wanting.
Gee, I hate to close you down. Maybe we can reach a little, understanding here.
Whether it has positive or negative consequences.
Cash bribes only.
Wiggum in his 20s and 30s. At 24, Clancy was accepted into the police academy, where he wasn't the brightest tool in the shed, almost killing the cameraman of the documentary. But he was able to get away with all of his mishaps with a good old gun massage.
Okay, don't be afraid to dig in there good.
It seems that Wiggum failed the police academy that time around, and so temporarily worked as a night guard. But it wasn't all bad, as this is how he would meet his future wife Sarah. But do keep in mind that this particular episode is considered as non-canon. In the episode, we find out that sweet as sugar Sarah might not be as nice as she appears. She was a thief and worked as the honey pot distraction for Clancy during a diamond raid. Their kiss was all part of the plan, but falling head over heels certainly wasn't, quickly resulting into bumping uglies on the mailroom floor. It must have been some sweet loving too, as it even led on to a marriage proposal.
Oh, will you marry me?
Probably.
As for their official meet cute story, fans consider it to be when Wiggum planted crystal meth on Sarah purely to have a reason to talk to her. Wiggum would eventually go on to pass the police academy, which apparently took a whole weekend.
It takes one solid weekend of training to get that badge.
As a young cop fresh out of the academy, Clancy was lean and athletic. That was until he discovered Lard Lad donuts.
How do you sell these anyway?
By the dozen.
Oh boy.
Wiggum shortly became a drug officer and investigated Lenny, Carl, and Homer for any wacky backy. And unfortunately for Homer, Sergeant Scrap smelt the doobie hidden in his crotch. Clancy excelled through the ranks to become the chief of police at a very young age of 32. It could have been due to his excelling career, or most likely giving Quimby another amazing gun massage.
Oh, I'll make it happen.
Whichever reason it was, the latter showed that Wiggum is really developing a knack for getting what he wants and working the law around his little pinky finger. Chief Wiggum in his present day. Now fully stuck into the life of being the chief of police, Clancy needs some backup.
Eddie, Lou, how about a little backup here?
Enter Lou and Eddie. These guys seem to act as the safety barrier between Wiggum and any further damage he could do to a crime scene. They both come across as much smarter and with it than the chief.
Chief, that wasn't a monster, that was the captain of the high school basketball team.
But overall, I think that these guys get on pretty swell.
Permission to hug, Chief?
Permission? Granted. Granted, Lou.
The occasions where Wiggum bends the rules aren't rare, and there have been many occasions where he really should have been fired or at least dismissed.
Yeah, right, buddy. Liquor store robbery, officer down, sure.
In the brilliant episode The Springfield Files, he mocks civilians' crime reports by typing them up on his invisible typewriter.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll just type it up on my invisible typewriter.
He also advised Lisa in My Sister, My Sitter that
If anything goes wrong, just dial 911. Unless it's an emergency.
what kind of department are you running here, Wiggum? But as we all know, the government, the mafia, and the police often collaborate in the art of corruption and incompetence, and that's no different in the town of Springfield. I feel this is a huge reason why Clancy is still the chief of police. He turns a blind eye to Fat Tony and his cronies and covers up Mayor Quimby's controversies, just as long as he gets something out of it.
I know you've been dealing drugs at the high school, but I'll look the other way if you come to Ralphie's party.
I'm sure when he started, he really wanted to make the town a better place, but if something serious was to happen now, Clancy is probably the last person you'd want to call.
Let me tell you what I tell everybody who comes in here. The law is powerless to help you.
Now, don't get me wrong, he has been punished a couple of times, like when he was fired in the episode Papa's Got a New Badge. This was because of his extreme incompetence during a blackout.
Someone call 911!
So Homer takes his job and proves to be a fearsome force. But humble Homer feels that the town deserves more, giving up his badge to the first person he meets, aka Wiggum.
That's funny, because this is how I got the job the first time.
But still, Chief Wiggum's got arguably the best job in town. Great friends, a beautiful wife, and of course Ralph, who he is very devoted to, often doing some pretty strange things just to appease him. This includes eating horrific crayon and thumbtack sandwiches.
Can you taste the thumbtacks?
Ah, crap.
And pretending to arrest Bart just to make him seem cool.
Okay, I held up my side of the bargain. Now you have to go to Ralphie's birthday party.
What a cute little violation of the law just to make his son happy. Now, this need to appease him, I think, is largely because Ralph is known to be, well, a bit off.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Which is most likely because Wiggum dropped him on his head. I mean, he has got a little leprechaun imaginary friend that sits on his shoulder and tells him to burn things.
Burn the house down! Burn them all!
So I feel Wiggum knows this and his weird case of curiosities and wants to make his childhood as easy and happy as possible.
Roll over, son! Yay!
And although he is a bumbling klutz at times, he has endured a lot in the name of his profession. After a fight with Snake Jailbird, the two find themselves in Herman's shop.
Looks like the spider caught himself a couple of flies.
Who ties them up in a Pulp Fiction-like style, but thankfully, before the Gimp could show up, Herman is knocked out with an accidental assist from Milhouse, giving them just about enough time to escape. Wiggum would also be shot on duty after trying to protect his friend.
That's what bulletproof vests are for. Uh-oh.
This near-fatal shot put him into a coma, but when he eventually woke up, he and Homer would later be kidnapped by Fat Tony and his goons. But using his wits, Wiggum managed to subdue them.
Eat Fix-A-Flat!
And after the Mafia get arrested, it shows that he isn't the brightest cop around, but he can occasionally do the badge proud. Wiggum's future and his death. Jumping 8 years into the future, Clancy's future shows us that he stayed true to his biggest passion in life, being a cop. Although he has gotten a serious upgrade and transformed into some kind of RoboCop. He most likely got his brand new technology after being shot or shivved one too many times. On the plus side, he can cook rotisserie chicken right inside his stomach.
Just grab it with your hands. Go ahead. We're not fancy here.
Flash forward ahead another decade and Wiggum has lost his fancy robot parts. And he is just as incompetent as ever, shooting Homer dead after he exits a food bank. And as karma, Wiggum chokes to death after taking a bite out of Homer's said sandwich, and so dies at the age of 62. So there you have it, folks, that is the complete timeline of perhaps the most corrupted cop in all TV. All I can say now is...
Break 'em away, toys!
What'd you say, Chief?
Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, then please tap that like and subscribe button. It genuinely really helps me out.